The New York Knicks have a problem, and it starts with Julius Randle and RJ Barrett. In today's video, I'm going to tell you why, if the Knicks are ever serious about winning another NBA Finals, one of these two guys has to be traded. We're going to take a deep dive into some analytics and some stats that show you why these two guys are the Achilles heel for the Knicks. But first, make sure you guys show some love and hit that thumbs up icon. Let's do this. If you want the Knicks to win the NBA Finals this year, do your part. Hit that thumbs up icon. Don't be the person that doesn't like the video, and you're the reason we aren't hoisting the Larry OB. So go down right now and hit that thumbs up icon if you want the Knicks to win the NBA Finals. So there's a lot of news and rumors circulating around the New York Knicks. Trade rumors, extension rumors, no doubt about it. But in today's video, I really just want to do a deep dive into some analytics. And I truly believe that if the Knicks really want to win an NBA championship, Randle or Barrett need to go. And there's no doubt that Julius and RJ Barrett, they are good players. They are actually really good players in the NBA. Both of the guys averaged almost 20 points per game last year. Julius Randle at 25, RJ Barrett at 19.6. Julius was a third-team All-NBA player. He is a really good player, no doubt about it. There's not a lot of people on this earth that in the regular season can average 25 points per game, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 45+% from the field, and almost 35% from downtown. And RJ Barrett is still just 23 years old. I get that. I've used that excuse for sometimes when he has poor performances, no doubt about it. And he's gotten better each year except outside the COVID year. This year he got better. Highest field goal percentage of his career. Got better finishing around the basket. Had a good 8-game stretch in the playoffs, but the three-point shot has just never come along. And no matter how individually skilled these players are, I just think it boils down to the fact that neither are winning basketball players. And what do I mean by winning players? They don't do the little things. They don't necessarily make anybody else better. For them to be at their best, they have to have the ball and the offense run through them. I just truly believe that you can have one of these guys in your starting lineup if you want to win an NBA championship, but it's tough to have two guys that are ball dominant, not the most efficient, not clutch, don't play defense, and don't always give the most heart. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the lineups where RJ Barrett and Julius Randle were on the floor together. When you take a look at the top two-man lineups for the New York Knicks, I looked at all two-man lineups that played over, I think it was 300 or something minutes this year. And the net rating for when RJ and Julius Randle played together, they had a minus 2.3 net rating. This show's going to get a little bit nerdy, so let's talk about it. What is net rating? Well, it measures a team's point differential per 100 possessions. On player level, this statistic is the team's point differential per 100 possessions while they are on the court. So this is a problem. RJ Barrett and Julius Randle were the worst two-man lineup for the Knicks this year of the 24 lineups with more than 525 minutes based off of net rating. So the Knicks were at their worst this year when Barrett and Randle were on the floor together. And that's not what you want when two of those players are some of your top minutes getters. We'll dive deeper into this. I mean, look at some advanced stats when these two guys are on the court. Their offensive rating is 116.2, which is honestly pretty good. But their defensive rating is 118, which is really bad. Their assist-to-turnover ratio is just 1.8. That means there's not a lot of ball movement, and there's a lot of turnovers. We know both these guys are turnover-prone players, and the effective field goal percentage for them is 54.2, which is below the league average of 56.6. And the same is said about the true shooting percentage, which theirs together is 58%, and the league average is 60. So they're less efficient than the league average. They don't create a lot of shot opportunities for other players, and they have a minus net rating, and they're one of the worst defensive rating duos in the National Basketball Association. But the biggest point I want to make in today's show is neither of these two players fit well with Jalen Brunson, who is the face of the New York Knicks. He is the guy that's carrying the success of this team on his shoulders. He is the player that the Knicks are going to build around for the upcoming seasons. And if you don't fit well with Jalen Brunson, Captain Clutch, you probably shouldn't be on this team long term. So I also looked at the top three-man lineups or I guess in this case, the worst three-man lineups for the New York Knicks. And what do you know? RJ, Brunson, and Julius were a part of the fourth worst net-rated lineup. That is a problem. When those three players are your most highest paid players, they get the most minutes on your team. And when they are on the court together and they produce some of the worst results of a three-man lineup on your team, that is not good. You need players that bring the best out of Jalen Brunson, that make life easier for Brunson. Randle and Barrett, the stats tell you that they do not do that. Another point that I want to make is Randle and Barrett, they have superstar game. And what do I mean by that? They're best with the ball in their hands. They're best when the offense is run through them. When they get to have those ISO touches and plays run through them, they're great players. The thing is, they have superstar game, but they're not superstar players. And the advanced analytics show you that. They don't necessarily do the things that role players do well. And if Brunson is going to be your head honcho, you need people to be stars in their roles. I mean, look at this. The catch and shoot three-point percentage. These are terrible numbers for RJ Barrett. He's coming in at 32.3%. Well below the league average. Julius Randle, 34.5% on catch and shoot threes. That's not good at all. The league average is north of that. So they are both below the league average when it comes to catch and shoot threes, meaning that they are not offensive threats when they don't have the basketball in their hands. Also, with them not being catch and shoot guys, that means they don't shoot well from the corner. And for this Knicks offense, that is a problem, because here's a list courtesy of NBA University on Twitter. You can check them out. Awesome page. They gave us the top 5 offenses that produced the most corner threes and then their three-point percentage. The Knicks offense, it produced the second most corner threes this year, but they only knocked it down at a 37.9%. Why is that? Because RJ Barrett and Julius Randle were the 9th and 10th worst three-point shooting percentage players in the NBA from the corner. So if you're not good at being a catch-and-shoot three-point guy, and you're playing an offense that gets you a lot of corner three looks, and you are some of the worst corner three-point shooters, that is a problem. They don't play well with other ball-dominant players, and those stats we just showed you illustrate that picture. Point number 4, they don't do the little things. And what are the little things? Diving on the floor for loose balls. Deflections, steals, blocks, charges drawn. Let's talk about it. Deflections per game. The fact that RJ Barrett averages less than 1 deflection per game, it is absolutely bullshit, to be quite frank with you. It's a lack of effort. He doesn't care, or he's just not a smart defensive player. And I'm not trying to just bang on Barrett. Let's talk about Randle. His is not good either. 1.3 deflections per game. That is a problem. What about, all right, maybe I'm being a little bit too critical with the deflections. Well, what about charges drawn? Sure, they're not great defenders. Maybe they do something to help their team on the defensive end. No, they don't do that either. Neither RJ Barrett or Julius Randle drew a single charge this season. I know, I can already hear you in the comment section. Marshall, yeah, but Marshy. No star players take draw charges. Well, Jalen Brunson's our best player, and he drew more than 35 charges this year. That's why I love Jalen Brunson. Is he a good defender? No, he's terrible because he's short, he's got short arms, and he's not the quickest guy in the world. But he plays with this, and I need more out of that from RJ Barrett and Julius Randle. Frickin' slide in front of the goal one time and take a charge. Stop being a frickin' stiff. Last point, neither are clutch basketball players. So many times the outcome of an NBA game is decided in the last 5 minutes. What are these stats we're going to show you? They're considered clutch time stats. And what are those? It's when a game has a point differential of 5 points or less, and there are 5 minutes or less in the basketball game. That's where games are won or lost. Well, for the Knicks, thank God they had Jalen Brunson, because he was literally one of the most clutch players in the NBA last year. Because if it was up to these two guys, the Knicks wouldn't have even freaking made the playoffs. RJ Barrett shot 35.7% in the clutch this year from the field. And then he cut that in half and shot 16% from 3 in the clutch. Julius Randle wasn't much better. He was actually worse from the deck, 33.8%, and a white-hot 27.6% from downtown. It's a joke. They don't take charges. They don't play defense. They're not good in the clutch. You just can't win an NBA title when 2 of your 3 highest paid players don't do anything well except for score the basketball. My take, my final thoughts on this. If the Knicks want to win an NBA championship, they need to either trade one of Julius Randle or RJ Barrett. And I'm honestly, as I'm doing this video more, they might need to trade both of these cats. But let's ask you this question. If you only had one of these guys to keep, who would you rather choose? Who would you rather be on the Knicks for the foreseeable future? Is it Randle? Is it Barrett? Type 30 for Julius. Type number 9 for RJ Barrett. I'm sure some people are going to be, Marsh, you're such a hater, man. You never liked these guys. Thing is, I like winning, and I like winning basketball. I don't have an agenda. Well, I do have an agenda. You know what my agenda is? For the Knicks to win basketball games, to advance in the playoffs, and not get humiliated in Game 6 against the Miami Heat with our backs against the wall. I say all that to say the Knicks are still very far away from being an elite team in this league, but it may only be a move or 2 away. As always, I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you for rocking and rolling with us here on Knicks Now. If you want to yell at me over on Twitter because you disagree with what I got to say, let's do it. Hit me up at @MarshallGreen_.